Hello, this is the Animation Fanatic. Foreshadowing, or well, maybe just just a little bit. But this is a review of the most recent Beware the Batman episode, Batman episode 10. Um, and we continue. Uh, there are parts of this episode that I like, parts that I was only okay with, but overall, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. And again, not my favorite, but still pretty decent. um, so basic plot: we continue with the Katana and Bruce learning to work together arc. We also continue with the League of Assassins as the bad guys. They've really shaped up to be the main villains here. I'm very surprised. If you liked Lady Shiva, then you'll be lucky. She comes back here to do quite a bit in this episode. She's not the main villain, but she's one of them. Anarchy's back, Mr. Assassin's Creed guy. But really, just going out there to spread anarchy and chaos. I'm a little disappointed. I had never read any of the comics with Anarchy in it, but I know he's sort of used as a vehicle for social commentary, political commentary. Obviously, this is the kids, so you're not going to get that much of that. I'm just a little disappointed. Maybe if this were Batman the Animated Series and Paul Dini or Bruce Timm and whoever the other writers were on that, maybe if they were at the helm, they would do that. But this is a new era. This is a new show, so take what you got. Basically, Anarchy contacts the League of Assassins. He steals something that belongs to them, and he says that he'll give it to them if they go and steal a certain toxin for him. His intention really being, and then he tells Batman and Katana about it, his intention really being to lure them into a trap and cause some kind of an explosion that will result in some kind of a chaos, which is basically his goal. His goal is chaos, although his plans are remarkably well planned and orderly to a point. They haven't worked as of yet, or at least not entirely the way he wants to. So anyway, this is sort of a mixture of a work together episode and a versus episode, and I like how they did this actually. I think there's two things that you have to look at. There's two different shows you have to look at for how to do a villain and hero team up episode and how not to do a villain and hero team up episode. One that you look at of how not is X-Men Evolution. I think it's episode 7 with the Juggernaut. There's nothing terribly wrong with the episode. It's just it feels too early for the Brotherhood of Mutants and the X-Men to team up. They've barely even fought each other. Why are they teaming up at this point? Yeah, individually they've fought against the X-Men, but really they've barely fought each other as a team. And it feels like there should have been more time between them forming as a team and the X-Men and them working together with the X-Men. I know it was a greater threat. I know, yeah, that makes sense, but it just didn't seem like it was done fairly well. Plus, the whole working together was really short, and just came together to support a forced moral or whatever. How to do a bad guys and heroes team up episode? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012. The Turtles have to team up with Xever and Max Bradford. I can only remember that part of his name. In order to get out of Baxter Stockman's trap. And what I loved about that was the Turtles actually knew the whole time, especially Raph actually comes out and says this, they're going to betray us, so we better watch our backs. Can we even trust them? But together, the two teams work for the most part. And actually, technically they don't even really get betrayed. I mean, all that Xever does at the end, spoilers, he does try to kill Leo. He throws a knife, I think, at him, or a morning star, or I forget what, shuriken. But he misses. No, he doesn't miss him. Raph catches it. And that's the extent of the betrayal. But that was a very good team-up episode. There was a common need. They teamed up. They still didn't like each other. They got to know a little bit about each other. And that's it. So this episode sort of walks the line between that. There is a greater emergency, but they're not really working together too well. They're only kind of aiding each other's escape. So to make a long story short, Lady Shiva goes in there with two of her ninjas. They get infected by this toxin, and which is actually going to blow up, which is actually going to infect the rest of Gotham if they don't get out of there. They're racing against the clock because Gordon doesn't want to blow up the facility, but there is a fail-safe measure to blow it up, and someone else from the organization wants to blow it up. By the way, I really like it that Gordon is more and more working with Batman here. He seems to have sort of accepted the temporary alliance, not temporary, but the alliance between them, although there's sort of a sense that he wants to honor it, but he doesn't really like it too much, and I like that a lot. I think that's very well done. So anyway, Batman, Katana, and Lady Shiva have to get out together, and after this, the show feels again a lot like a video game. I've said this over and over. This is a problem with the show. It feels like a video game that you can't play. And I don't think there's very few things that are worse than being stuck in a video game that you can't play. That your friend won't let you play. And everything seems like a level, like, we gotta get up to the next floor, we gotta get to the next floor, level up. So yeah, but it was interesting to see Katana and Batman and Lady Shiva have to sort of cooperate. They still don't like each other, but they have to cooperate. But only to an extent, because Batman actually handcuffs her for most of the episode, and then she gets down and she attacks him, and he beats her up. Interesting to see that the leader of the Assassin's Guild, the League of Assassins, is actually not quite equal to Batman. Come to think of it, Batman is actually the best fighter in this entire show. The only person I think who came close to him was Anarchy and Magpie, and Lady Shiva got the drop on him, but he just beat her with brute force. Anyway, handcuffs her again, and then she gets out. But yeah, Katana had this whole thing about, if you remember in the previous episode, she had this whole thing about, oh, work with your heart, not with your head. She had this other thing about sacrifice for the greater good, or blah, blah, blah. I'm getting a little tired of these life lessons with Katana things, but whatever, it's character development. She's interesting enough. Episode ends with Anarchy giving the casket to League of Assassins, and it has Ra's al Ghul in it, and that was pretty cool. I liked that ending portion, even though it had been spoiled for me before. It was. I can't wait to see him, and possibly Talia, and other things. I can't wait to see Anarchy further down in the plot. I can't wait to see other villains return. Pig and Toad, Magpie. Forgot the other guy's name, but no matter. Yeah. This was a really good episode. This was a really effective. I'm sorry. Why did I say that? This was a decent episode. It had a decent enough plot, decent enough character development. Wasn't my favorite. Wasn't the worst. That's all I can say.